This is Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum.
Well, when you're selling, you got to know who your buyer is, and you got to know how to market to them. I do.
And Dan Keller, mortgage expert with New American Funding.
Hey, rates are important, but strategy matters more than ever.
For the next hour, you'll learn impactful insider information as Christian and Dan teach about the ins and outs of Seattle's real estate market. Now, here's Christian and Dan.
Hello, and happy Monday, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. My name is Christian Nossum, and I am the founder of the Awesome Nossum Group at Wilson Realty. And
my name is Dan Keller, mortgage loan officer at New American Funding. And for compliance purposes, my MLO number is 115349. I think we're acing that whole...
I think we're trying to get that one down. We're doing a pretty good job, Dan.
Yeah.
So both of us are fighting colds today, so if we're a little slow, I apologize. But we're going to try and keep the energy levels up. So, yes.
We got it, man. We got this handled. We've been battling for... mine's been sticking around for a while, and our producer, your wife's out today.
Yeah, she's out. We have no producer. We're flying solo. We'll make it work.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah,
we're jacked up on coffee right now.
Exactly. Yes, we are. So a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month ago now, we had Carl Green of Nordic Services, and they are a contractor and a restoration company. So what they do is if you ever have an issue where maybe in the middle of the night in a windstorm, a tree falls on your house and you're like, crap, who do I call? There's water pouring into my house and there's a tree halfway through it. What do I do? So he gave us some really good tips, and I always like to reshare kind of things that we learned in our previous episodes. So one of the things that he kind of brought up was make sure that you check your homeowner's insurance to make sure that it allows for code corrections. And what that means is basically, I mean, in Seattle especially, we have a lot of really old homes, a lot of craftsmen, 100-year-old homes, give or take. If you don't have that code corrections I guess allowance in your policy, you could actually be kind of screwed. So if you have that in there, though, your insurance will be forced to bring your home up to code rather than just redoing it any old way, and then you're going to have to pay the difference to bring it up to code. So
this is important. As we have guests on, we learn more things about just owning home ownership, the journey, the path, the things that we need to know, that we need to be able to advise our clients. I've actually brought that up with clients in mortgage planning meetings. You and I both, we get introduced to clients. Clients meet us online, and we're nobody to them other than, hey, they found us online. They're maybe interviewing us versus other people. So to have these more thorough discussions with, hey, this is where we take our services kind of to the next level, not only just with the radio show, but having some of these guests that enlighten and advise us in the studio.
Every week we're adding more and more info to our brains, having guests on the show, and it's forcing us to step out of our day-to-day bubble of grinding, doing our jobs, which I'm a real estate agent and you're a mortgage lender. I mean...
and most of us get tunnel vision where we're just doing the same thing every single day. Hey, you're running comparables and listing homes and showing houses versus, okay, the bigger picture is what happens when they actually purchase this home and move in. So
all the other elements that go along with that, which is what the show is all about. That's why people like our show. That's why people listen to our show, watch our show. Got a little bit higher sky cam because we got a new tripod today.
Love it.
That's why we do it. We're here to educate you, the homeowner, on not just the current real estate market, but also just home ownership in general. Things you can do to educate yourself in case something else happens down the road. And so, Nordic Services, they were good. And plus, Nordic, I mean, I'm Norwegian. Come on,
there
man.
you go.
I got to love them. I gotta.
That's awesome. So, and it kind of ties right into our guest today, with, and this is kind of, I'm going to be honest with you, man, it's been hard finding a solid appliance guy. I've reached out to a couple of different appliance centers and got introduced to our guest today, and was like, this is the best fit of all of them. And, appliances are big. It's the same thing when you're shopping for, I'll just make it relevant to my industry. People come to me and they're shopping for a mortgage. And initially, the only thing that they have in common, that we have in common with each other, because we don't know each other, the only thing we have in common is what I'm selling. And essentially, I'm selling rate, correct? So when you step into an appliance store and you're looking for a dishwasher, for example, you're looking for a deal.
Yeah,
We're looking for
the best price.
Yeah, best price.
That's what everyone's doing.
But there's so many different levels of that, and there's so many from professional installation. Well, installation in general. Some stores you buy one and you're on your own.
Yep.
Having flipped a few houses and had some rentals, the one thing that I have found that I really do not like doing is changing out dishwashers. It's not plug and play.
No,
it's custom wiring.
Yeah.
And plumbing and
there's a lot of issues that can easily
and so basically the guest we have on today and our discussion today is going to be centered around can you get is your best deal at this particular location? It could be, but that's not the focus. Deal is not the focus. It's advice. It's making sure you're getting the right appliance. It's making sure that it suits your family's needs. For example, a washing machine. One of the things when we bought our my wife does a ton of laundry. She's a clean freak. Yeah. And that was one of the questions, our appliance salesman asked. How often do you do laundry? I mean, are you somebody that, your kids wear something, you guys wear something that goes in the dirty clothes and you do laundry? You like clean clothes, you like clean bedding all the time. That is a question that's a next level question that most sales professionals would not ask.
Exactly.
So, this is going to be a great guest. This is going to be another great show. And again, just appliances are just one additional spoke in that hub.
That's why we're here, getting you guys, the listeners and viewers, up to speed on and educating you on another part of home ownership.
Let me ask you this, Christian, because you show a ton of homes. You show $3 million homes to $300,000 homes. When you're showing homes, are there any appliances that typically jump out to you, like in today's, 2016?
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
People love outdoor living spaces now. So doing like either a custom, depending on the price range, a custom built-in outdoor kitchen.
Okay.
That's huge. Okay. Because you're extending the living space from the house to the exterior, which everyone loves to barbecue.
Yeah.
Most people like to barbecue.
Yeah.
So if you can extend that kitchen area to the exterior where it's inviting, it's open, it doesn't have to be built in. Obviously, if it is, that's a great idea. Yeah. But if you just have the space and a nice setup, either with a fire pit or a built-in fire pit, or I have one client who built his own wood-fired pizza grill outside, pizza oven, I should say.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so, or a built-in like fireplace, exterior fireplace. I mean, you guys have the indoor-outdoor fireplace at your house where it's half of it's on the inside and you're in your living room.
We can enjoy it from the inside in our living room. We can enjoy it outside.
Go on the deck and you're enjoying the same fireplace. Yeah. So that actually your fireplace is a huge hit for a lot of people.
Cool.
Because again, you can enjoy it from both indoor outdoor. Yeah. You don't have to have two appliances. You don't have to spend double the money to enjoy it. Yeah. So that's a big plus. I just think, I actually showed a $1.5 million property on Lake Washington, or near was one street off Lake Washington, and it had this really cool, it's probably from the 1950s, bright fire engine red oven stove that had been refurbished and brought up to date, but it still had all the old dials and all this stuff. But it didn't really fit with the house. Yeah. It was cool and it was kind of a showstopper, but it did not fit the aesthetic of the house at all. So the buyer was like, it's cool, and I feel bad that I want to get rid of it because it is so cool, but it does not fit at all. It pops out like a sore thumb. So it can either, having cool, unique appliances can make or break what your kitchen or whatever part of your house it is in. So
it's unique. It's funny that you bring up, not funny, but it's
hilarious.
It's hilarious. No, but it's great that you brought up the outdoor living spaces, because what I'm starting to, it's certainly a trend. There's a couple of builders, I'll just name one of them, Main View Homes, for example. That's their signature thing is the outdoor living space. And the way that they're building those is such that outdoor living space actually counts as square footage.
Yeah.
So
it's really interesting.
which we need to contact them and maybe have them in on the show just to kind of
bad idea.
It's not a bad idea at all. But
Yeah.
so we're seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of the indoor, outdoor, the outdoor living spaces. More and more with new construction.
Yep.
So
That's
and
cool.
then
I didn't
upgrades.
realize that they were counting it as square footage. I see it in their listing
Yeah.
that they're counting it, but I don't know if the appraisers are. So you probably
Excuse me.
pay attention closer
Yeah,
to that.
I
than
think
do.
if you enclose, I don't know, because the main
'Cause
wall's enclosed.
Two of the four walls are interior or exterior walls of the home, and then the other two are open.
Yep.
And the overhang of the master bedroom up above.
That's
That's
Yeah.
probably how they're doing it.
Yeah. So hey,
Interesting.
yeah, I mean it's and it's working. I know we've done a couple of different mortgages on more up north,
Yeah.
Kirkland, Bothell areas, but
Yeah, and they have a project in Mill
Yeah.
Creek too. That's pretty nice.
Really
So-
neat looking layout. So, talk to us real quick about what's going on in the Seattle real estate markets right now.
Yeah.
Welcome to this week's Seattle Real Estate Minute with Christian Nossum.
So I get this question quite a bit. So people that have a home that maybe is in somewhat disrepair, or at least they think it is, where it needs a lot of work. They've kind of done a lot of deferred maintenance. They haven't done a lot to it lately. They want to know if it's better to just sell to a developer or a builder who, trust me, developers and builders, they want a deal. They are going to bargain with you. They want the best price. Or is it better to put it on the market and sell it as is and try to hopefully get a better price? The answer is put it on the market. I mean, like I was just saying, builders want a deal. They make money when they buy, not when they sell.
Yeah.
So they want the best deal they can possibly get. They're going to negotiate hard with you, and generally you're the one losing out, not them. So, and they're trying to protect themselves because they're usually a year out for actually building whatever they're going to do. Best case, especially in this strong market with low inventory, sell to the next homeowner that's going to actually live in it, because they're willing to, especially here, they are willing to overlook any issues. They're willing to pay less than maybe if it was all fixed up, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're going to factor that in and make it their own. And a lot of people do. A lot of buyers do want to make it their own. So that's kind of my take on that. So that's kind of my real estate
That's a great tip.
minute of
Great
the
pointer.
day.
I know we talk about that a lot.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We have Jim Freedman from Metropolitan Appliances on today, and he will be in next. So stay tuned for more on Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM.
We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hey, welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio. We are here just a quick reminder, we're here every single Monday from 3 to 4. And also want to remind our guests, we actually, over the past couple of weeks, been showing up on Saturdays as well. What time are we on? 6 o'clock on Saturdays?
5 o'clock, I believe. 5 to 6. They
5 to 6.
rebroadcast
Yeah.
us. So if you're listening on Saturday, we are not live.
We're not live on Saturdays.
We don't come in on Saturday.
And if you
at
happen
5.
to be bored from 5 to 6 on Saturdays, definitely iHeartRadio or log in to 1300 Business Radio, 1300 AM.
Yep.
And you can hear a replay of another awesome Seattle Real Estate
Or
Radio
you can
episode.
always go to seattlerealestateradio.com, watch the video, see what our guests look like, look at Dan's beautiful face. I mean, he's flexing right
flexing for the camera. Yeah.
For all you radio listeners, Dan's flexing. Yeah. So today,
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty pumped about this because we're about to be in the market for a kitchen redo.
Oh, there you go.
So we're going to need all new appliances. And today we have Jim Freedman, owner of Metropolitan Appliance, in the studio with us. It's actually pretty interesting. Jim started out in the early 80s with KVI, which was a Golden West broadcasting network here in Seattle. And after a few years with KVI Radio, 3 of which he spent producing the Mariners, which again, got another connection there, he decided it was time for a change. He started working with his close family friends at Metropolitan Appliances, which used to be, and I still remember this, direct buying service. And since then, he's never looked back. So Jim has worked in the appliance industry for over 30 years and bought the business from its original owners about 20 years ago. Locally owned and operated for over 60 years, Metropolitan Appliance prides itself on being part of a national buying group with over $13 billion in annual sales.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of sales, just
Yep.
a tad. They specialize in appliances and plumbing fixtures for upper end, middle market, and economy level homes and offices. So, Jim, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I get to pick your brain.
Well,
Dan's going to pick your brain.
We couldn't
and-
have better timing too. Heading into the spring, summer, it's barbecue time. It's certainly the housing market heats up
Yep.
every spring and summer. And hey, out with the old appliances, in with the new. Jim's your contact. Great company,
Exactly.
great resource. So yeah, I'm excited for the show today.
Yep. I've always seen your commercials and stuff, so
Been doing it for years. I've always enjoyed doing the commercials. But the real joy is having people come in, talk to them about what their needs are and finding the best fit to fill their needs.
yeah, exactly. And that's what an expert does.
Well, we've got a great staff, and everyone in the store is an expert at appliances. They've been doing it for a long time. We really go everywhere from planning to finding the right thing, to delivering the right thing, to installing the right thing. We've got a great group of delivery and installation people, and it's just a good all-around fit for everyone. You know, anyone who comes in gets treated like they should be treated individually.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really pride ourselves on is that we don't really pigeonhole people into, well, you really need this low-end package, or you really need this piece or that piece. We don't really have to do quote-unquote numbers with anyone. We want to get the best fit for the client.
Yeah.
And,
Love that.
and that's what it's all about.
and that's what Dan and I were talking about in the first segment before we brought you on. We were talking about how, I mean, there's a deal. Everyone wants a deal. So it's separating yourself and trying to explain, well, it's not necessarily about the best price.
Yeah.
It's the overall package from
Well, it's a
delivery
lot-
to install to everything.
It's a lot like what you guys do. It's
Exactly.
building relationships,
Yep.
and those relationships go far beyond that particular.
a fridge.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's
you know,
exactly
when
like
people
that.
come into your store, the only thing you really have in common is their need for appliance and your position to sell that at X price. And so when you can start talking about install and service, and hey, what are your goals? What are your needs? It's it takes the sales process to a whole nother level.
Well, and it really gets away from price. It gets more to value.
Yeah, there
It's
you go.
really setting
Yeah.
the value of the product and of the service.
yeah.
Would that be kind of what you say separates you from your competitors?
Without a doubt, yeah. It's the individualistic approach that we take to people and the things that we can offer, both from planning to sales to service to installation, before and after the sale and during the entire process.
Yeah.
It really, we love taking people by the hand and kind of guiding them from cradle to grave as far as the
Yeah.
entire process, because it's a daunting process
Yeah.
when you are looking at a blank slate and say, geez, I got to fill this house and I have to do this and do this and think about this and this and this. You know, you need help. The general contractor
Yeah.
does a pretty good job, but they've got all of their subs, and we like to find ourselves as one of those subs that to be able to help people out.
I know Christian has some really great questions for you, but since we're on that topic, how do you?
But I'm gonna jump in
But I'm going to
anyway.
jump in and interrupt. You know, because we were there when we built our house in 2014. Our general was no help. He said, "Go to Albert Lee. I've got a 10% discount with them." I don't know if I should have said that, but long story
We can
short,
edit that out, right?
we went there and we didn't use that company. Put it
Yeah.
that way. And so, you know, the big thing is with internet nowadays, and you don't know. We knew we needed a dishwasher. We knew we needed a stove. We need washer dryer and a fridge. But oh my, where do you start?
Yeah.
Like dimension wise, capacity. It was overwhelming. And you know, at the time, the reason why we chose the person that we did, we chose the sales professional at a particular place versus the place.
Yep.
So it sounds like that's what you do a lot of. That's what you guys pride yourself in. But how would you, one of our listeners, how would you best advise them? Hey, you're starting the process. You need a fridge or you need a dishwasher. How do you work through all that noise on the internet with specials and companies and models and makes and Costco and this and that to, hey, slow things down. This is how we approach
Let's
this.
simplify it a little bit.
Well, the internet is, as you know, a very confusing place. You can read 12 reviews of any given product that are phenomenal and are the worst product.
Exactly.
And it's so skewed to confuse because a lot of what people read are either planted reviews or they're reviews of product that doesn't exist any longer, but yet it might hurt the individual manufacturer that might have made a fair to poor product back then, but completely makes a great product now.
Yeah.
One of the greatest examples of that is, front load laundry had a huge resurrection 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Maytag did an incredible job of making laundry a product again.
Yep.
Used to be a $349 washer, a $299 dryer, and that's all people bought.
Yeah.
Well, Maytag figured out a way to put laundry back on the map, save gallons and gallons of water and energy, excuse me, and really help people out with larger capacities and such. And they did a 98% really good job of that. And everyone has built upon their shoulders to improve upon that. Well, some people might have had a bad experience with that
very first
iteration
product.
of it.
Yep.
Maytag makes a phenomenal product now, and they've gotten great Consumer Reports ratings and everything. And again, that's another tough one is Consumer Reports chimes in, and you don't know where Consumer Reports is necessarily coming from. They have some people that sit on their board of directors that happen to be involved in certain appliance retailers and manufacturers. So there are certain brands that get rated artificially higher than they should be because of that.
Yep. Yeah.
So it is confusing. And once you've figured out what type of product you want and what type of features you think are important to you, bring that to a professional like ourselves.
And that's what I was just going to say. What kind of research or what kind of things should I, as a consumer that needs appliances, what do I need to come into your store prepared with in order to have you assist me?
Yeah.
Probably the best thing is first dimensions.
Okay.
There are a lot of situations
yeah.
where people will come in with
And it's not just width and height. It's also depth a lot of times.
Yeah.
And that's what people forget.
finishes. Of course, you're going to have to overall decide on a scheme, and there are some really interesting color finishes that are out there now.
Yeah.
Take a dishwasher, for instance. What features are important? Third rack on dishwashers is an up-and-coming thing, and people look at it and they say, what would I want that for? And then, that's for us to explain,
Exactly.
well, here's what you can do with that. Here's why it would be a great thing, and if it's not something you need,
Don't get
look
it.
at this model. There are plenty that don't have it.
Yep.
Quiet. It's amazing how many people come in looking for a dishwasher and say, you ask them the first thing that they want, and they say quiet.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the first thing that you want out of a dishwasher be clean dishes?
Yeah. I think they're assuming clean is assumed.
Just about anything that people are going to buy nowadays is going to be quieter than what they had, just the nature of the beast.
Yep.
But again, taking some of that into consideration and then talking with us, letting us show you what's available, and really just coming to the best conclusion, not only of dishwashers, but of ranges, whether it's going to be a separate cooktop and a wall oven or a range altogether. Refrigeration, there are so many choices from built-ins to freestanding to counter deep and so on. It's exciting, and that's what keeps me coming to work every day. Every single day, it's something different, and it's usually something fun.
Cool.
We were talking about trends in the opening segment. I know you're going to get to trends here in a minute. Are you seeing the built-in wine? They're not refrigerators, are they? Because wine,
they're
they
kinda
are. Are
wine
they?
coolers.
Yeah, wine
Yeah.
coolers or whatever. Are you seeing? Is that a trendier appliance nowadays?
Or is that kind of tailing off, or what's
Well,
going
I
on
think
with
that it did kind of reach its
think so
apex
too.
at one point. A lot of people that are really into wines are going to have a wine room or a wine cellar
Yep.
that's temperature, humidity controlled,
all that stuff?
either with its own refrigeration system or it could be subterranean.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the casual wine enthusiast or someone who wants an extra beverage refrigerator, those under-counter products are still really, really big. Under-counter products in general, whether they be refrigeration drawers.
Yeah. I just saw that at a house in Finney Ridge.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
A couple weeks ago, where the fridge had a glass door. And so you could actually see it. It was almost like a commercial one. And you open it up, but it wasn't really all that big. But then you go right next to it, and they had two drawers that were also refrigeration drawers. And one of them was a freezer. And I was like, huh. And it wasn't part of the fridge. It was a separate deal. And I was like, that's interesting.
Well, and then in higher-end homes, there sometimes might be media rooms where you might even want microwave drawers, which are a big thing now.
Interesting.
And or beverage refrigerators, so you're not traipsing over
You're
to the
not
rest
going
of the
all the way
house
over there.
to get
Yeah.
it.
Yep. No, that makes a lot of
Real
sense.
world problems, huh?
Yeah, exactly. First world problems, more like it. I don't want to walk 10 feet away. I need my fridge right here.
Right.
But, that's the way it is. And I'm part of that problem, too, because that's the way I like it. So, real quick, in about 30 seconds or less, what's kind of the biggest trend that you think that millennials are kind of seeing?
Oh, yeah.
If you can do that quickly.
Sure, we're seeing a lot of smaller appliances, 24-inch refrigerators and 24-inch ranges and 18-inch dishwashers. A lot of these people are living in very small areas, and that's a real trend that we see coming up.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Let's pick up on that when we get back from the break, because that is a big topic right now.
Yep.
Millennials.
Yep. All right, so stay tuned. We're going to have more from Jim Freedman and Metropolitan Appliance right after the break.
We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio. This is Christian Nossum, and today we have our good friend, Mr. Dan Keller, here to interview Jim Freedman of Metropolitan Appliance.
Yeah, this is a great segment, because here's the thing: whether you are a home buyer, or you're selling a home and you're doing an inventory of your appliances, and maybe you need to tune up the house to list it, whatever whatever advice, Christian, your agent gives you. I think this is huge to understand, because what I want to do is I want to recap kind of what you guys were talking about in the last segment. When you start looking for, or when you're in the market for an appliance or appliances, where do you start? Most people...
That's the biggest thing. I mean, no one knows where to go. I know for me, I've gone to, like you were saying, Consumer Reports, and you look at all the reviews, and you go, well, I think I want this one, but then you look at everyone's review that they add, and you're like, everyone says this is the worst thing ever, and Consumer Reports gives us the best rating ever. So it's like, what does that mean? Then you go to HomeDepot.com, and you look at theirs, and it's the same thing. It's half and half. People hate it or love it. And you're like, okay, I'm completely lost. What do I do?
Yeah.
And I think that's where you guys come into play. So Metropolitan Appliance, you go in there, you guys, and tell me if I'm wrong, but this is what I think your specialty is and what sets you apart. You will take me under your wing and go, okay, well, here, based on what you're saying you want, because you're going to ask a series of questions to dig down to figure out what I want. You go, okay, well, here's what works for what you're saying, based on your budget, based on what you want. And based on that, here's kind of the ones that we think are the best for XYZ reason. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that, and it's difficult because the consumer has perhaps an inherent mistrust of sales professionals.
Yes, exactly.
And there are some companies that people will go into that they may have a poor experience or might be pigeonholed into this brand or that brand for whatever reason the retailer has to do it. But with us, we don't need to do business with any particular manufacturer. We want what's best for the customer. And being able to listen and then move to the products that really best help the customer is really, as you say, what really sets us apart.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, and that's it's more about education, which is, again, what we set our businesses up as. I'm a real estate agent, Dan's a lender, or a mortgage advisor, or whatever. I never know what to call you, Dan.
Mortgage advisor, baby. Mortgage advisor. MLO number 1153349.
So that's how we set up our business. And we talk about it all the time on the show. People are probably bored of hearing us say that. But that's really what we're about. We're about educating people, because even though we're quote-unquote salespeople, we're not.
Sure.
That's not how you sell someone.
I
You
mean,
sell
trust
someone,
us.
Exactly.
We know what we're talking about, and we really want what's best for you.
Yep.
Because in the end, it's going to be best for us as well.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. So if we can educate people on, or if you can educate people on, okay, based on what your needs are, here's why you should trust me.
Precisely,
and
right.
here's what you need.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's huge.
I think we've beaten that one
No,
pretty
this
good
is
at
big
this
though.
point.
So recapping, you need to look at, if you're starting. Everybody goes to the internet, right? Everybody does nowadays. They're not going to the newspaper. They're not just showing up at Costco or wherever. You're going to the internet first, most likely. So the first thing you need to consider is dimensions. Like you made a great point, Christian. Not just height, width, depth.
Yep, depth is a big one,
Depth's
especially
big.
fridges, because people don't realize how big of a deal that can make and make your kitchen feel weird if your fridge is sticking out 6 inches past the counter.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So dimension's the first. The second is finishes, kind of your color, the style, the stainless, whatever
Versus whatever, yeah.
finishes, and then features. So those are the three big things. Jim, since we're on that, anything else you want to add to that to elaborate?
Well, there are some really interesting finishes. A lot of people come in that they really love stainless. They hate the fingerprints.
Yep.
Well,
That's everyone's complaint.
either buy stainless or you buy faux stainless, which some of the manufacturers do kind of a fingerprint-proof stainless. Unless you're planning to do a full kitchen around that, I would suggest putting up with the fingerprints and buying real stainless, because the faux stainless, although it's really nice, if you buy that in the refrigerator, because it's the big blackboard of fingerprints, and don't buy it in the dishwasher or the range, it doesn't necessarily look all that good.
Yeah. Okay.
GE's come out with a color called Slate, which
Yeah,
is really
I've
a
seen
neat finish. It's a textured finish, kind of dark, that would go with stainless appliances, go with black appliances. That's a great finish. Some of the brands have come out with black stainless, which is, again, very, very attractive. And then those companies have also enhanced the interior of the refrigerator by changing it from a white liner to like a gray interior, and put LED lighting in it. Everything in there really pops. You can see everything that's in the refrigerator much better.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
There's some really neat trends in colors. Of course, laundry colors are all over the map.
Yeah.
There's white, there's gray, there's
Red
chrome
and-
shadow, there's red, there's blue.
Yeah.
And those are kind of fun.
They've made laundry rooms sexy somehow.
That's right.
Which is so
They gotta
weird,
do.
but it's true.
Yeah.
Marketing. All right. So, Dan, did you have another?
Yeah, I do. I got a handful of questions. I know. I just wanted to spend a little bit of time on that, because I think that's the number one thing that our listeners, and when we actually syndicate this or send this out to our next clients, our future clients, I want them to know this. I want them, hey, if we can add value to our clients to save them time shopping or shopping the wrong way, and just say, hey, focus on this. And while you're at it, give Jim a call. They take care of you much like we do. We come from an advice, an advice and an education and a contribution standpoint, versus just, hey, let's sell and get you into a mortgage, or sell and just get you into an appliance. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I think it's relevant to everybody's house. I think you need a fridge. Can you go into some more detail on fridges? Like, what are the main types and styles, and what are the pros and cons? I know you just mentioned stainless with the fingerprints, maybe magnetic features, because they can't hang that Seattle Mariners schedule that their mortgage guy sends them,
Or the kids' pictures.
or the kids'
Or
pictures.
that.
Yeah. So let's talk fridges real quick. Everyone's got one, right?
That's right. There are a lot of really interesting things in refrigerators, and one of the real interesting things that the manufacturers have done is they've really given a wide variety of opportunities based on what people want. So at the high end, there's the true built-in refrigerators, the Sub-Zeros of the world, which are wonderful refrigerators, and they have options for wood paneling to match the rest of the cabinetry, stainless, custom panels as well. And they're really beautiful works of art that do a phenomenal job refrigerating. Sub-Zero in particular, it's the only one that has dual refrigeration. So you're really buying a refrigerator and a freezer all in one unit.
I'm really happy that he's not ripping on Sub-Zero, because that's what we have when we built our house. So I'm glad that we're getting good feedback. We made the right choice on
It's
that.
fabulous
Okay, good.
product.
Good.
There are counterdeep style refrigerators where the physical box is the depth of the cabinet, and then the doors stick out beyond that. And we're seeing an awful lot in there. And it's more and more companies are making more and more opportunities in different sizes, but primarily that's a 36-inch wide by 70 or 72-inch high opening. More and more companies are starting to do 28s, 30s, 33 wide, again, because a lot of kitchens are starting to get smaller.
Smaller.
Top mounts, bottom mounts, they're still a real good opportunities. The French doors are really something that's here to stay. They really evolved from the fact that when people had bottom freezers and had the single big door, that when that door is open, the access to the rest of the kitchen for someone else is now eliminated. So they took what's best about a side-by-side in these shallower doors and put that bottom freezer in there so that people could have the
bigger
refrigeration space at their
Yep.
at the waist high level and above, and put in the large platters.
Yep.
Well,
is
I
a
mean,
big deal.
yeah, it's a big deal. So since we're on brands, I want to talk about two things. We've got about 4 minutes left here. I want to talk about brands, manufacturers, and then I want to talk about. I want to just have you go on appliances. Like what? Hey, let's talk appliances. A couple of different appliances. So, brands, manufacturers. Talk to us about how the better brands or the brands that you really endorse from and I may be way out in left field from a purchaser. I'm sure you align yourself with different brands, correct? Or how does that work?
We carry most brands in our store. There are a couple that we don't, but the majority of brands we've worked with, we've recognized as being the type of products that we want to put our brand on as well.
Yeah.
So you've got the Sub-Zero and the Wolf range companies that are really, really high-end brands that make the highest quality products. You've got brands like GE Monogram, which is the high end of General Electric appliances, and a brand like GE that has this entire spectrum of appliances that go from the low end of Hotpoint to GE Profile and Cafe to Monogram. So they really can capture a great market from high end to low end and really appeal to the largest number of people, depending on what their needs are.
Yep.
The Whirlpool brands, you've got Whirlpool, Maytag, JennAir, KitchenAid, and Amana. Great umbrella of great products.
Okay. So what we're going to encourage you to do if you're listening, and go in and talk with Jim and his staff and find the pros and cons of each one of these brands based off of your needs. I think that's the best
That's
next
exactly
steps,
right. Yeah,
Okay.
and there are brands that are great for people, brands that just don't qualify. People don't qualify for them for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Could be too noisy, could be this, could be that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why
never know.
that's why we brought you on today, because buying an appliance is an extremely confusing process.
Sure.
Everybody,
It's a very personal process.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And you need someone, in my opinion, much like buying a house, you need someone that is there to educate you and teach you what you don't know, and to help you and guide you and lead you down the path to the right purchase. I mean, appliances aren't like buying a house where it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they're thousands of dollars. They're still kind of a big deal.
They are a big deal.
And you're using them every single day.
Yeah.
So it's huge to have someone that you can trust and rely on, that you know isn't just selling you, but is in fact helping you.
Yeah. Well, from our initial discussions too, and your website, the follow up is huge. So 3-4 years down the road, if something were to happen to that appliance, you've got great service, you've got great. You stand behind your product, all of that. Great service level stuff.
All right,
we got a
so-
minute left.
So I got
Yep.
So locally owned and operated for over 60 years, Metropolitan Appliance carries all the major brands and offers outstanding savings, exceptional quality, and the best expertise from an experienced staff. Professional delivery, installation, and haul off of your old appliance is just a part of their complete service, which that is a big deal in my
Very
opinion.
big, yeah.
'Cause it's not just buying the appliance, it's getting it installed, which is what we talked about in the very first segment before we brought you on.
Yep.
They're located in just they're located just 3 blocks south of Safeco Field on First Ave South and Holgate. Visit their website at metropolitanappliance.com, or just give them a call 206-623-8811. Mention you heard them here on Seattle Real Estate Radio, and you'll get $50 off your delivery charge. So mention
Big
Seattle
time.
Real Estate Radio,
Yeah.
get $50.
When we
Stay
come back,
tuned.
though, when we come back, we're going to find out what your favorite appliance is.
Yeah,
So stay
and
tuned.
that's it.
There's more Seattle Real Estate Radio coming up here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL. We're back with more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. We're breaking the rules today.
are.
Our producer is out sick, so Dan and I are running the show solo. So,
we're keeping Jim on
we're
for the
keeping
final
Jim
segment.
on.
Yeah.
We're like, no producer. We're keeping him on for a third
Well,
round.
it's such good. This is such good information, and I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of our clients, when they buy. A lot of my clients right now that are refinancing, they're refinancing to do home improvements.
Exactly.
So I just want to continue running with this. So you mentioned something over the break, and that's why we decided to keep you back on. That kind of talk to us about that. The difference. What were you saying? You were talking about the
how you guys, as a small independent appliance store, can actually compete with the big
dogs.
boys.
Yeah.
That's a common misnomer, is that people are going to get the best pricing from the box stores.
Exactly.
And what they don't realize is that there are national buying groups. We're part of the nationwide national buying group. We have $13 billion in purchasing power, and we have a group that negotiates on our behalf with the manufacturers to give us as good, if not better, pricing than the box stores.
Wow.
And because we can set our prices independently, not done on a national level like the box stores do, we have that flexibility to be able to offer our customers not only great pricing, but exclusive rebates that the box stores don't have. If you look at some rebate forms that manufacturers give you, it specifically excludes box stores.
Interesting.
So we have a lot of great opportunities, financing opportunities that they may or may not have. Again, rebates, products, exclusive products that they don't get. And we do that as a national group. And the nice thing about that is it's a group that's made up of retailers such as ourselves, larger retailers, some of the national independent retailers like Apt Electronics out of Chicago. They're this immense store. And it could be a guy who runs a True Value hardware store in the middle of Montana who happens to sell appliances. So it really allows each individual appliance dealer to compete with the big box stores, but also to do it on their own terms with what works for them.
That's awesome.
And what we know will work with our clients.
So not only, this is what I'm getting from you. I'm going to recap what you just said and put my own spin on it. So not only if you go into Metropolitan Appliance do you get, and this sounds super salesy from how I just promoted that, but that's not what I'm trying to do.
Go ahead.
Really,
sell it.
I know, exactly. I hate selling. So anyways, basically, you're not only going to get someone that's going to really look out for your best interest and help you find the appliance that makes sense for what you want and teach you and guide you based on your wants and needs, but you can actually get a pretty good deal on it, if not a better deal than some of the big box stores that everyone thinks they need to go to get the big.
That's what we pride ourselves on. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big deal.
It's big.
That's huge. I'm glad that we kept you on.
I am too.
I'm glad Shannon's out sick.
I want to throw a curveball out, and I'm going to totally throw you on the spot here. If you were to sell one brand, not necessarily an appliance, but one brand out of your store that you just know will make you guys look good, that you love selling, what's that brand?
Probably be Wolf Cooking.
Nice.
As a matter of fact, when we redid our kitchen 2 years ago, we predominantly used Wolf appliances.
Okay.
We had come from a situation where we really didn't have tremendous appliances. You know, they came with the house. And finally, after 20 years, we decided to do it. We took the big leap. And when it came to trying to figure out what to put in our own home, we evaluated a lot of the brands. My wife is a really good cook, but she didn't really have the tools to make it her creative palette. And that's what a brand like Wolf can do. It can really take your cooking, and if it's something you enjoy doing, it can really become part of your creative palette.
So if you're in the market for an appliance, go down, talk to Jim, talk to Jim about Wolf Appliances, or, and you may start a discussion with him and realize that Wolf may not be the right one for you, but at least head on down there to Seattle Metropolitan Appliance. Hey, if you're watching live here on camera, you can see he brought us in a couple of really nice hats. Love that.
So are you guys like kitty corner from the Krispy Kreme? Is that where you're at?
That's where we are.
Knew I knew where you were
we
at.
go outside and we smell it every day.
That'd be dangerous for me.
Yeah, that would be
Although,
dangerous.
Krispy Kreme always makes me feel like crap, so never mind.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be dangerous at all.
That's right.
Well, Jim, thanks for joining us today. We gotta talk mortgages right now. The mortgage minute coming up, but appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me.
Welcome to this week's Mortgage Minute with Dan Keller.
Dan, tell us the latest. And first, tell us your
Yeah,
MLO number.
I love that you're reminding me now. It's awesome. So anytime I talk mortgages or rates, which I'm not going to be talking about rates at all today, but for the sake of compliance, my name is Dan Keller. I'm a mortgage advisor at New American Funding. My MLO number for the 15th time on today's show is MLO number 115349. Hey, listen, we're seeing a lot of clients coming in looking to refinance right now. Home values are up. Interest rates are down. And, one of the common questions that I'm getting is, what would it look like to pull equity out? So keep a couple of things in mind. when you pull equity out of your home, there's a charge for it. So if you were to just refinance to do a rate reduction or to lower your rate,
So keep the same loan balance.
keep the same loan
just
balance,
reduce your
but just
interest
reduce
rate.
your
Yep.
interest rate. That's what you're going to find online when you look at rates, or when you call me up and say, hey, I heard rates are down. What are today's 30-year fixed rates? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a quote based off of that.
Yep.
Remember, if you pull cash out, there's a service level or a lender level charge for that. So I'm getting this all the time. Well, Dan, I thought rates were this.
Yep.
Well, listen, you're pulling cash out. You're taking your loan
more
to value
expensive.
up.
Yep.
It's a little bit more expensive. So keep that in mind. But on the topic of pulling equity out of your home, listen, it's a great time right now if you do need to potentially upgrade your appliances or maybe do a bathroom renovation. Now's a great time from a tax standpoint, tax liability standpoint. You can pull equity out, get additional deductions on that. So we're seeing a lot of that now. And instead of talking about the market and rates and everything, I felt like I'd bring something up that's relevant. So
Yeah, no, that's a good one. So are you seeing people actually using their equity to buy another home? Or are you seeing a lot of times just to fix up their house for in a year they're going to sell it? Or
That's actually a great question. So I'd probably say 1 out of 10 people are actually doing that. So anytime somebody comes in to meet with me, whether they're a first-time home buyer or a home buyer or a just a refinance client, I encourage them. I ask them a question: Who do you plan on running this major transaction by? And a lot of times I get that blank stare. What are you talking about? Like my mom or my dad? No, financial planner, CPA. And most of the time they don't have one. And so it's an opportunity for me to introduce them to a financial planner or have them go talk to their financial planner about that. And through some of those conversations, we are having financial planners say, hey, now's not a bad idea to pull 80 grand out or 60 grand out and use that as a down payment on an investment home or a second home or reinvest with them. So great question, Christian. But yeah, probably 1 or 2 times out of 10, we're seeing that.
Good. Good.
The other thing in closing, keep an eye on oil. Keep an eye on oil. I've been saying that. The economic numbers, manufacturing, the GDP reports, those are down. Nothing really is doing great. Interest rates are pretty much flat right now. But yeah, we're still at historic low levels. But oil is going to be the big one to keep an eye on.
All right. Good to know. Thank you very much, Dan.
Yeah.
Jim's still in studio.
I know. I don't think I've ever had somebody sit through a mortgage minute.
Are you
It's
embarrassed?
crazy. Did you learn something, Jim?
I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you see what we're all about now.
So I want to ask more questions to you real quick.
Let's
We
do
only
it.
got like
Yeah.
1 more minute,
Yeah.
but you're here, so it might as well.
Hit me.
What do I want to ask? There's so many, but we only got a minute. All right, let's just talk about fridges because that's something that I need personally.
All right.
We're gonna eventually redo our kitchen, but our fridge is gonna die before we have the funds to redo the whole kitchen. It's already starting to fail on us. So, meaning you pull the drawer out and every time it just falls. It came with the house. So, if we were gonna get a new fridge, how would we go about doing that now before we redo the rest of the kitchen? What advice would you give me?
Well, that takes a lot of foresight. So,
Yeah.
Trying to figure that out can be pretty daunting because you do want to be able to make the right choice that you can integrate into the next phase.
Yep.
If you really don't want to do that, you could get a 18 cubic foot top freezer in white, use it as a gap refrigerator when the real thing
Make
comes
it the
around.
beer fridge when it's done. Put it in the
Exactly.
garage.
Put it in the garage, and you've got extra refrigeration, which also helps your flexibility with what you're going to purchase on the next one.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
And that's why you just saved me probably, I don't know, I've spent probably 4 hours looking at fridges online.
Well,
and
a lot
trying
of
to figure out what to
aggravation
do.
when it comes to what am I going to do next.
Exactly.
This was
So
awesome today, man. I love this.
You just showed our guests what exactly we were talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jim, for coming on
pleasure.
today.
Thank you for having me.
It was really good to have you on. I'm glad that I have you now in my back pocket as someone that I can refer people to because I get questions all the time like this. So,
I
Dan,
appreciate
great
the
show
opportunity.
today. Metropolitan Appliance in Seattle, just 3 blocks south of Safeco Field. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Stay tuned next week, next Monday, 3 to 4 p.m., and rebroadcasted on Saturday, 5 to 6.
Or for more information, visit SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. That's SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. And be sure to tune in again next Monday at 3 for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, right here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL.